So here we are, our referee Rob Spencer, preparing to get things underway here on
Chris
table
Wakelin.
one. This is the final group match before the semi-finals begin, probably around 6 p.m, depending on the duration of this match here. It's Chris Wakelin versus Mark Selby. Big match for Mark Selby. He needs at least a couple of frames to overtake Gary Wilson. Because Gary Wilson is playing on table 2 currently against Kyron Wilson. So Gary Wilson needs a good result there. A comfortable victory for Gary Wilson could just see him make the playoffs, but it's in the hands of this man here, Mark Selby, really. With me to enjoy this match, Ross Muir. Well, the pressure's on these players now, Ross, isn't it? The last group matches, some of these players are guaranteed progression to the semi-finals, but some of them aren't and have work to do.
This is always the most exciting part of the day, the business end of the group stage. Every single ball can be crucial in these moments. And what an opening shot that is from Chris Wakelin. Can't really cue a ball better than that.
Six. Seven.
Chris Wakelin has performed pretty well in this second group. Was very fortunate to be in it, really, because had Nopon Sengham performed a little better in Group 1 in his last match, he lost it. Had he have won it, it would have been Nopon Sengham, the Thai player, contesting Group 2. Instead, it's Chris Wakelin. But Kyron Wilson, Chris Wakelin and Ryan Day have played a lot of snooker these last 3 or 4 days.
12.
It's clear to see it's taken its toll on Ryan Day. Topped the group standings in Group 1. Lost in the semi-finals, Ryan Day. But in this group, didn't win a single match, surprisingly.
13.
Oh, he's overcut
Chris
the blue.
Wakelin,
Well, he didn't
13.
really have command of the cue ball for much of that little break. And he has broken down, and a good chance now for Mark Selby. Of course, there's a lot of pressure on Chris Wakelin playing somebody such as Mark Selby, 4 times former world champion, multiple ranking event winner, one of the game's greats.
1. Six. Seven. 40. 50.
May see Mark going into the pack here. The red to the far right of your screen is a nice little bit of insurance for going into the pack. Chance to open up some more as well. He might have came just a tad straight to do that.
22.
Mark Selby currently in 4th and final qualification spot in the group. But he needs the odd frame here in this match. That's all he's looking for. Gary Wilson,
29.
if he were to win comfortably on the other table against Kyron Wilson, let's say he won 3-0, he'd leapfrog Mark Selby, who would then have to win at least a couple of frames.
30.
He does have the safety buffer of being 1 point ahead of him in the group table, Mark Selby. He's on 3 points, Gary Wilson's on 2 points, but Matt Selt and Ryan Day have already been relegated. Kyron Wilson still tops the group standings with 4 points with Chris Wakelin. On frame difference, it's Kyron Wilson who is heading the group for now. So a few things can change once we know these
36.
final 2 results of the group matches on tables 1 and 2 here. We'll be able to give a final update of the group's tables, and we'll know who's playing who in the semi-finals.
37. 44. 45. 45.
Surprising miss there from Mark, but great opportunity for Chris to mop up these balls.
What?
Just do not see Mark Selby to the near draw. Almost the moment he struck the cue ball. And you don't get very many opportunities as good as this
6.
against the game's top stars, and when you do get them, you need to capitalise on them as much as you can, just to put pressure on the top players, because otherwise they just tend to stamp
7.
all over you.
40. 50.
'Just lost the cue ball a tad there. Makes the next pot a little bit tougher
20.
than maybe it should have been. Still fancy Chris to pot this, but
21.
Tough pot that was across the nap of the table. Cued it beautifully, and that will give him some confidence. 5 points behind, but he has to be considered favourite here to go on and win this first frame now.
27.
Myself and Ross were rather perplexed as to why Chris Wakelin left himself where he did for that last red. And if he's a guaranteed good position on the yellow, he'd be better off playing the pink, but it's missable. So lots of work to do with the cue ball. He has played it very well, absolutely perfectly on the yellow here. So yellow, green, brown and blue still needed.
37. Forty. 44. 49. 55.
In goes the black for an excellent clearance of 62 from Chris Wakelin. Mark Selby was in first, looked like being a comfortable winner of that first frame until a rudimentary miss black to the left corner has allowed Chris Wakelin in for the winning clearance. So it's Chris Wakelin who leads by 1 frame to 0.